Hello, I am Austin Wilson.
And I'm Josh Robb
with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management, and we are here to provide you an economic and market update for the month of August, looking back at the month of July. So let's start off with what everyone's talking about.
Yes.
That's not inflation, because we're going to get to that.
Okay.
The markets.
Good. It was a good month.
The markets in the month of July were good.
Yes.
And that's been a while since we've been able to say that.
It
So,
has.
the S&P 500 up 9.22%. I think that's the second best month or the best month in a couple years.
Since like
2020.
April 2020.
Yeah. So, really good month. The Dow was up 6.82%. NASDAQ 12.39.
Wow.
12.39 in a month.
I saw a thing that said, based on that and its continued performance, it technically hit a intraday bull market because it was 20% up from its all-time low.
Oh, whoa.
Intraday, not closing though.
Still, pretty good moves.
Yes.
Small caps, 10.44%. Also good. International stocks, 5.26%. Emerging market stocks,
Not so good.
down 0.16. So
That's
flat.
not too bad.
But still, not near as good as the U.S.
No.
Equity markets there. And bonds even. Bonds rallied. They were up 2.54%. So, thumbs up for the month.
All right. So I'm going to focus forward to August, the first half of August. And I'm looking at some maybe less known holidays, national days, because, you can submit these things, and then if they approve it, you become a national day of something or other.
I just hope there's some food ones because...
There is some food ones.
Good.
Spoiler alert. The first one, though, is Farm Worker Appreciation Day.
Ooh,
and
I
that's
love my...
August 6th.
Speaking of food,
Yes.
I love my farmers.
August 6th. So farm workers, all the food you see at the store, someone's got to be the one producing that.
That's
and those
right.
are the underappreciated farm workers. Now, if you see your farmer out walking through his cornfield, you know what you got to do. Roll down your window and say, hey, you're outstanding in your field.
You're outstanding in your field.
Give him a little boost there.
Well, thank you, farmers, if you are watching this, because as a guy who likes to eat
Yes.
and a guy who likes to buy things that come from your products,
That's right.
thumbs up for you. All right. So, Josh, I must ask you a question.
You must ask me a question.
See what I did there?
There it is.
Okay. What caused the market performance?
Well, I'm going to say probably your optimism.
I am pretty optimistic. I'm a jolly guy. But actually, a lot of it was earnings. So earnings season for the second quarter has been going on for a couple weeks now. And generally, the term that is being used to describe this earnings season is earnings are coming in better than feared.
Better than feared. Yeah. Set a little bar there,
the
right?
bar was pretty low, but they're coming in slightly above that. In general, 6 out of 11 sectors are on pace to record better than expected results, so that's good. Led by energy. High oil prices, which really leads to high margins and profits for oil.
Yep.
Actually, probably going to be like it's record profits for oil
For that quarter,
that quarter for those companies right now, and ones that they probably won't see again for at least a while.
Yeah.
As well as consumer staple stocks, which generally are exhibiting some good pricing power, being able to pass along a lot of the inflationary pressures that they're seeing. And stocks are also being less volatile on both the upside and the downside this earnings season, so less of a reaction to earnings, which is kind of a welcome thing. You don't see
Always
as
is.
big of those 20% swings or whatever on one day. So, it's pretty a good earnings season as far as expectations go.
All right. Well, you asked for a food holiday.
I
I got
did.
one for you. This is August 8th.
Okay.
National Frozen Custard Day. Right? So,
Culver's employees rejoice.
so frozen custard, ice cream, similar, not the same.
Custard's creamy.
The United States Food and Drug Administration says to be called frozen custard, it must contain at least 10% milk fat and 1.4% egg yolk solids.
Okay. What's the ratio for ice cream?
Well, the egg yolks is the difference.
Okay.
So, 1919, a little bit ago, frozen custard really came into popularity. Now, prior to that, even back to the 17th century, they knew that mixing milk and eggs caused a little bit more creaminess, and they did it for other things. But when it came to ice cream, they found that this is over in Coney Island, New York. Mm-hmm. So they got that boardwalk and all that fun stuff, right? They found these 2 ice cream vendors named Archie and Elton.
Yep.
They realized that when they added egg yolks to their ice cream, it resulted in a product that was smoother in texture and helped it stay cold longer. So, during summer, cold longer is a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you have your ice cream and you set it out and it starts to melt, that would probably be Custard's last stand. I'm wondering. I'm not sure.
He came to work today.
I don't know.
He came to work today.
Just asking.
So I know I mentioned we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. Inflation is still happening.
Inflation.
If you didn't know, so we got the June report of inflation in July. Mm-hmm. That came in with a headline reading, which is all encompassing of the basket of goods at.
Sorry to pause. I just wondered. My tire light came on this morning for my car.
My wife's did too the other
If
day.
I go to fill it up and it costs more, is that inflation?
It's inflation.
I'm just curious. I don't know.
I actually made that joke because a week or so ago, I was taking my parents and my daughter and my sister and her husband. Well, the whole family was going up to the zoo. So I'm in my van, and my van's loaded down. Mm-hmm. I'm going. And we've had one tire that's been a little bit finicky.
Yep.
It happens. So I'm driving, and I'm like, grab my lights on. I'm going to be driving all day. I'm just going to pull in the gas station and get some air. Mm-hmm. And it was $1.35 or something. It
used to be free
to fill up air in my tire. So I got in the car, and my parents are like, I was like, yeah, I had to pay my $1.35 or whatever. And my parents are like, you have to pay for air? I was like, it's inflation. So I made that same joke. Good job. So yes, inflation. June inflation came in hot once again. 9.1%
high
headline. So that is the highest we've seen in 40 some years since.
Yes. Highest in your lifetime.
Highest in more than my lifetime. So, big number there. Core CPI, so we take out food and energy, did tick down again at 5.9. Still high.
That's 2 months in a row.
I think that's 3 months in a row.
Wow.
That core has come down. So this continues to indicate that up through June, the biggest drivers have been food and energy of inflation. Now, the Fed, once again, responded to this and gave us another 75 basis point or 0.75% interest rate hike in an effort to slow down the economy enough to slow down inflation without putting us into a recession, but we'll get to that soon.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. You asked for food, I'll give you 2 in a row, all right?
Thank you.
August 10th. National S'mores Day. Who doesn't like a s'more?
I want s'more.
Yeah, so s'mores were first mentioned officially in a cookbook in 1920s.
Okay.
It was a cookbook published by Campfire Marshmallows, which was the original marshmallow making company, still around today. But in there, they referenced that it apparently had been used by Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. It's been a well-known recipe, but they're the first one to publish it. And good thing to know, with s'mores, there's always room for seconds because
gotta have s'more. I love it. All right, GDP, gross domestic product.
Yes.
This is really a measure of the overall economy size, right? Encompassing of everything.
Yep.
It can be fiscal spending and consumer spending, all of it all wrapped into one, right? So on July 28th, Q2 GDP, so looking back at the second quarter, it was released and it came in at negative 0.9% annualized. This is the second quarter in a row where we had negative GDP reading. The first quarter was negative 1.6%. So traditional thinking says 2 quarters of negative GDP in a row indicates that we're in a recession. However, we have yet to get confirmation from the NBER, or the National Bureau of Economic Relations.
Yes.
We have not gotten that confirmation.
They're the official caller of recession.
That we are in a recession. There are a couple reasons why we may not technically be in a recession, and that is consumer spending portion of even that quarter's GDP was very positive, very favorable, and we have 3.6% unemployment.
Yeah.
So
that's not struggling, right?
That's not necessary. Those two things would typically be in much worse conditions for us to be in a recession. But by a traditional indicator, just of 2 quarters of negative GDP, that may be what is happening. So that's where we are on GDP.
Good. All right, one of my favorite holidays, August 13th, National Left-Handers Day.
Oh, the Southpaws.
Left-handers. That's right.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, couple famous people. Rocky being a fictional person, but
wait, he's fictional?
President Ronald Reagan.
Okay, yeah.
President Bill Clinton and President Barack Obama.
3 lefty presidents.
Recent lefty presidents. Yeah. Paul McCartney and Jimi Hendrix. They were musicians, I believe. I had to look them up.
I just look at Jimi Hendrix.
No, I'm just kidding. One of the best guitarists ever.
Of course.
Oprah Winfrey. Did not know. Left-handed.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts, Lady Gaga.
Okay.
So there's a couple of those. And then, baseball players. One of the more recent ones, one of the ones I loved growing up, Ken Griffey Jr., left-handed batter, great player.
Back in the home run heyday.
Yes.
Yeah, from the late 90s.
Good times.
Well, that is, you're my favorite left-handed person I work with.
Left-handed people, injuries
There's only
every
one
year.
of you,
I
that.
know. Left-handed people, though, injuries every year. The worst, can opener, scissors.
Nothing's made for you.
Oh, man, it's the worst. Oh, it's horrible.
Left-handed spoons.
Yeah. By the way, international left-handers, they started in 1976.
You were like oppressed until then.
We just weren't even acknowledged. So
It's like a disease.
yes, it was horrible.
All right, and my fifth and final point is a bit of a dramatic one. So it relates to China and Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
So in early August, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, she had a visit to Taiwan, which was the first senior-level U.S. executive representation visit since, I think, 1997.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
Newt Gingrich or something.
Yeah, so that's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this trip was not well received by China. So mainland China essentially thinks that they can they want Taiwan. Yeah, they think they have Taiwan, although Taiwan is technically independent.
Yep.
So it's a big dramatic thing. China didn't want the U.S. going there. She went there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it was a decent trip, and she was safe getting in and getting out, and welcomed with open arms.
Yes.
But however, China responded to this. So she exited, left, everything was good. However, there were missile tests done in the sea between Taiwan and China afterwards.
Tests.
Yeah, missile tests. And China has since placed the Pelosi's under economic sanctions and cut off defense talks with the U.S.
Oh, man.
And they also sent warships near Taiwan.
Okay.
So they're not really thrilled that happened.
Don't like it.
The U.S. isn't necessarily saying we're all pro-Taiwan here. They just wanted to have an open discussion and an open relationship and say, essentially, that we're here for you in some way.
Yeah.
Economically
they
speaking.
produce a lot of semiconductor chips, so
Taiwan
kind of want a good relationship there.
Exactly. So that's a bit of the drama that's going on geopolitically right now.
And my last one, August 14th.
Okay.
National Financial Awareness Day.
Oh.
I like that.
Yeah, you should probably leave us with a nugget.
I will. So this came from a holiday calendar I used to find these. So they didn't have links for these data, or I don't know how old it is, so little asterisk here. But they all seem to match up with what I know about the industry.
Yeah.
For instance, according to them, 20%, that's how many people don't save any of their annual income. So 20%.
20%. 1 in 5.
1 in 5 are not saving anything.
$0.
Yep. 32%.
Pretty much
The number of families who maintain a household budget.
That's good.
Should be higher, but at least a third are having a budget. And then 44%, the number of families who don't have enough money to cover a $400 emergency. And that's scary.
Yeah.
So National Financial Awareness Day, make sure you're talking with your financial advisor, making sure that you have a plan in place and have those safety nets in place to help protect you in case there's an emergency.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm Josh Robb.
I'm Austin Wilson.
Thank you again for listening to our August market update. As a reminder, nothing we talked about today is a recommendation.
That's right.
Please talk to your financial advisor about any questions you may have. If you need help, you can contact us at 419-425-2400. Have a great day and a good rest of August.
Bye.
Josh Robb and Austin Wilson work for Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. All opinions expressed by Josh, Austin, or any guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment. Any investor who attempts to mimic the performance of an index would incur fees and expenses which would reduce returns. Securities investing involves risk, including the potential for loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.